We have multiple different New York Yankees updates as more than one pitcher has went down with an injury as the first day of spring training arrives. As we're about to see games get underway, we've already seen multiple pitchers dealing with injuries that will impact the course of this season and have an effect on some trades specifically regarding Marcus Stroman, and we're going to break all this down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Yankees Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into things as always. And if you guys are enjoying the content and you're part of that 71% that's not subscribed, make sure to subscribe to Yankees Digest. It really means the world to me. We're working hard to make the best content on the internet for you guys, so make sure to leave the subscribe if you're enjoying. But let's jump into this. The Yankees are dealing with multiple injuries already into this season. And we're going to start off with a prospect first because he is an up-and-comer for the Yankees who could be a could be honestly a star, but it appears there could be a very serious injury as well. And jumping into this and explaining all of it, as mentioned by Brian Hoke, Yankees prospect Chase Hampton has a right flexor strain and something going on in the UCL, according to Aaron Boone. Hampton is in the city for testing, so he left Tampa, and he's pretty bummed out about it, as mentioned by Aaron Boone. On top of that, Hoke also mentioned that Hampton, who is rated as the Yankees' second-best pitching prospect by MLB Pipeline, felt the discomfort after February 14th in a bullpen session, according to Aaron Boone. Hampton opened the 2024 season as the Yankees' number 6 prospect, but his first half was wiped out initially, which what was feared to be his right UCL, and was later diagnosed as a flexor strain. Now, here's why this is terrifying, because he's already dealt with this. This is not a new injury. This is an injury that's been going on for Hampton, and now what we're seeing is the fact that Chase Hampton is still dealing with this injury, meaning that clearly he's got something going on with his elbow, and obviously that could take him out from a period between a few weeks to a year and a half if he tore his UCL. If he tore his UCL, obviously that means Tommy John surgery, and that means that he's going to be out for a while, and that'll absolutely just slash a knife right through one of the New York Yankees' best prospects. And the Yankees, obviously, their prospect situation is not very good. So losing a guy like Chase Hampton definitely is going to hurt. Hopefully it's not a UCL injury. He is in the city getting tested for that obvious torn UCL. He's getting the MRI done, and there hasn't been an update yet, but there definitely is a lot to fear because Chase Hampton just is someone who's so good, and he's got such a nice future with the New York Yankees as long as he can stay healthy, but that has been a problem as of recently, and with an old injury to the elbow coming back up, it's just never a good sign. Now, we're going to make this a little bigger, but Chase Hampton is a very good player. In the minor leagues last season, in the 7 games that he played, he had a 2.41 ERA, pitching very well. His whip was insanely good as well, nearly under 1. On top of that, his career minor league stats are good as well with a 3.45 ERA. 27 games played, 27. He's a starting pitcher, a future starting pitcher. Good ERA and 125.1 innings pitched with 161 strikeouts out as well. The man is a very talented strikeout pitcher. He's just a great talent for the Yankees. He's one of their best pitchers, and to see him go down with an injury like this, it just leaves you with that weird pit in your chest where it's like you don't want it to be a torn UCL. If he's out for a few months, I don't care. I just don't want him to go down with a torn UCL after he's dealt his injury for a while. But the fact that it's flaring back up is definitely not a good sign, and the New York Yankees could be in some severe trouble with this. I mean, I'm definitely worried, but at the same time, it could end up being nothing. So we're going to all hope that Chase Hampton is A-OK. But on top of that, we have other news to jump into as well. As Brian Hoke also mentioned that Clarke Schmidt is dealing with a cranky back, according to Aaron Boone, in the most Aaron Boone way to describe an injury ever. A cranky back. Whoa, I cannot stand Aaron Boone, man. And Boone also said he doesn't believe it to be a significant issue as Schmidt tossed an aggressive flat ground session. So there is that as well, that Clarke Schmidt, he is dealing with an injury, but it seems like things are getting back on track for him despite this injury, and that's a good sign. Schmidt finally figured it out last year. I mean, he's been good before. It's not like he was bad, but like he truly figured out the Clarke Schmidt that we were all waiting for, and we saw it with a 2.85 ERA last season and a whip of 1.184. Now, obviously, he only played a couple games because he did go down. Not a couple. He played 16 games. He still pitched a good amount, but he did go down with that injury, which was unfortunate. He was having such a great start to the season. Was a surefire all-star. Remember last year when every single Yankees pitcher was just dealing to start the year? Rodon figured it back out. Garrett Cole was injured. But on top of that, you had Stroman, you had Luis Heel, who became the Rookie of the Year, you had Clarke Schmidt looking like a friggin' ace. Yes, I almost cursed. It's Friday, guys. It's casual Friday. But in all seriousness, I say that like I'm not a YouTuber. It's a stupid joke. Clarke Schmidt has really figured it out. I mean, 2.0 WAR last year, despite not even playing a full season, and that's most of his career WAR as it is. Schmidt clearly figured out how to become a very, very talented pitcher for the New York Yankees, and he's going to have a big role with the team this year. I mean, I guess he's the fifth starter, but that's not an indictment on Clarke Schmidt. It's more of the Yankees have an elite rotation. You have Gerrit Cole, you have Max Fried, you have Luis Gil, Carlos Rodon, and Clarke Schmidt. It's just an elite rotation. Now, the odd man out in this situation is none other than Clarke Schmidt's buddy, Marcus Stroman. And Stroman, well, he is pitching the first game of spring training. So the Yankees aren't just isolating Marcus Stroman into the darkness, if you will. Like, he's still getting reps. They're still gonna use him because the Yankees, they do want to inflate his value so they could trade him, and they're not gonna trade or acquire any sort of exterior outside third baseman from the franchise until they trade Marcus Stroman. So they're gonna use Stroman as much as possible to hope he shows up and shows out so they can find a buyer for him. They will have to pay off some of his money, but the hope is they can get like probably half that $18 million off is my guess. They pay $9, another team pays $9. They don't pitch him enough for that third year to really kick in because he has to pitch. I believe it's 155 innings for him to just be ready to go and get a second year added to, or a third year added to his contract. And no team wants that. I mean, we just saw the deal that Jack Flaherty signed a couple of weeks back with the Tigers, which was less money than Marcus Stroman's making, and Jack Flaherty is a superior pitcher. So there is it's not even a rough market for Stroman. There isn't a market for Stroman. So the Yankees have to figure out something to do with the $18 million hole in their pocket. And, well, obviously their best option is trying to inflate his value. So they are going to use Stroman a lot. And with Chase Hampton down, with Clarke Schmidt dealing with a back problem, there is a world where, at least in the very near distant future, even if it's just spring training, that we will see Marcus Stroman in the rotation. So we'll see how he does there. That'll obviously have a huge impact on the New York Yankees in a general sense. And honestly, man, I do expect Stroman to pitch well because it's the first half of the season, and Stroman is good in the first half of the season. So hopefully a team will buy in and believe that maybe if they trade for him, then that second half regression just won't happen because he's switching jerseys, changing the changing the stadium, changing all that stuff. Maybe it could help. I wouldn't be shocked if it does as well. Marcus Stroman, it's not that he's a bad pitcher, it's that he gets in his head all the time. I mean, he had a good start to the year, but ended up not having a great season, having a 4.31 ERA and a 1.468 WHIP, which is both worse than his career averages. He's a two-time All-Star, and one of those All-Star seasons was 2023, man, on the Cubs. Like, he's been good in the past. It's just the man gets so deep in his head, and it throws him off, and he just needs to figure out a situation where that's not going to happen to him because it really, really will change a lot for Stroman. I do like him. He's been a consummate pro for the Yankees. As my voice disappears. And on top of that, he's also just a ride-or-die guy for the team. So you want to see the best happen to Stroman. I hope he gets it together. I hope he stops kind of going off the rails. But we will see what happens, and we will report on it. So make sure to subscribe to Yankees Digest. Like this video, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Yankees.